Over the next few minutes, I would like to present a brief outline of the essence of psychological despair. Nobody is bulletproof. Your life may be ticking along beautifully at this point in time, but ask anybody who has been there before you. The hit comes from a direction you least expect it from. The impact and its consequences shake the very core of your being. It's not if, it's when. You may even be in the throes of one such turmoil right now. Some people curl up and give up. Others survive with a less than satisfactory outcome. The ones that come out best have either been there before or have the means of tapping into the experience or have the support of one who has been there before or who knows the process and has some strategies on helping to cope with the situation. As a family physician, I have used the principles in these talks thousands of times with considerable success. I have applied them to assuage even my own personal trials. Let us consider the principles of surviving a wobble. The human species is a fragile organism that is dependent on multiple variables, almost all of which are beyond our control. Be it our health, natural phenomena, politics, the temperaments of those we live and work with, or the stability of our income sources and relationships. We are as vulnerable and helpless as driftwood in a storm. The wonder then is not that things can and do go wrong, but that they do not do so more often. Sadly, most of us drift along, aware of the misfortunes, stress and deprivation of others, but in denial about the fact that it is just a matter of time before one's own number comes up. It remains almost a rite of passage that we will all take many hits, the missiles of adversity, during the course of our lives. As morbid as the thoughts of turmoil in our own life is, the fact is it will occur. How you prepare to deal with it is what will define your individual outcome. When the inevitable does occur, it can be both unexpected and bewildering. I should have seen it coming. The fact is that no amount of preparation or training can avoid the inevitable. A motor vehicle accident, a vexatious employer, a silent tumor, an unexpected marital upheaval are but a few examples of what happens. There are some things that one can prepare for. The real world, however, is one where the most bizarre occurrences will occur. Do not despair over the fact that you should have been more alert to its occurrence. Some of the most astute people will testify that while hindsight is sure to provide perfect clarity, most times adversity is impossible to predict. The instinctive response that you are likely to resort to are flight, fright, or to simply give up and let circumstances dictate the outcomes of your predicament. Whatever responses one chooses may be correct and in fact prudent in deciding an outcome. Sadly, too many make an inappropriate choice, resulting infinitely more pain and misery than is necessary for a given set of circumstances. The human and financial toll of a bad decision at a time when you may not be at your best to make a good call is the tragedy of adversity in one's life. Subsequent talks will assist you in the process of ensuring that the choices you make are robust. At the end of the day, your preparation and actions should result in the best possible mental, physical, social, and financial outcome for any negative situation you may find yourself in. Despair and the desperation of loneliness is the one certainty you can expect when confronted with a situation. In spite of all the support and assistance of friends, family, and loved ones, the one emotion that people feel more than any other is the terrible loneliness of having to personally suffer the effects of one's misfortune. This loneliness can be overwhelming and even devastating. Sadly, it is a time-honored fact that friends seem to drift off when they smell trouble or an inconvenience to their lifestyles. Recognizing this fact and developing genuine friendships and coping skills during the good times is a crucial element in defining a positive outcome when your turn comes around. For too many people, taking refuge in self-pity, if you allow it to, it is a cancer that will consume you, weaken you, and infinitely add to the burden of extricating yourself from an adverse situation. Self-pity is the single most damaging variable that will prolong your misery. The sooner you realize that you are the architect of your own recovery and rehabilitation, and shake off the shackles of moping around and feeling sorry for yourself, the sooner you will find yourself back in the slipstream of a positive outcome. As previously mentioned, you are ultimately alone on this trip. Most people have their own battles to contend with, and the rest actually don't give a toss. So grieve by all means, because grieving is part of the process of coping with loss. But guard against the demon that is self-pity, because it is a refuge that is far too expensive to even remotely entertain.